What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 10 of Prop It Like It's Hot, powered by PropInsiders.com, your home for the best prop betting info, stats, and trends. I'm Nick, and I'm joined here today by Clayton and Lucas. Don't forget to use code PLAYOFF499 for 30% off of your first month subscription. Don't forget, this will be the last and final week to cash in on that offer. Lucas, say what's up.
Not much. How's it going, fellas? How's the end of the weekend treating you?
Good. I already called in for tomorrow, so work's off again. Another long weekend for me. I'm happy about that. Nick, looks like you missed the old SPF 15 when you were outside. Yeah, there it is, buddy. Have a weekend.
Jeez, I'm feeling like a red rocket right now. But yeah, no, I definitely forgot to put on a little sunscreen for the soccer tournament this weekend. But we're feeling good. Hopefully, it turns into a tan by the time I hit up Kelowna this weekend.
There you go.
Yeah. In terms of our slight blunder last week, I kind of referenced the trade that happened between the Celtics, the Wizards, and somebody else. But the fact of the matter is, it was never really locked in. I think I said it wasn't locked in, but it is what it is. The real trade is out. I'm just curious your guys' thoughts on Marcus Smart heading to the Grizzlies and Porzingis officially coming to the Celtics.
I think they lost kind of a big character piece there in Smart. So I don't know how that will play out in the long term, but I think it's, to be honest, it's similar thoughts as the original deal we talked about last episode. It's just kind of like, is Porzingis really gonna move the needle for them? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I guess when it's not working, you gotta try and mix things up and see what will work. But yeah, it seems to be like what the Celtics are doing here with this one.
Right. I mean, to me, I thought it was a little bit shocking because, I mean, originally the trade involved Brogdon, but now it involves Smart, who seemed to be pretty emotional in the press in terms of thinking he was going to retire a Celtic, but I guess in this case is not going to retire as a Celtic. I think Marcus Smart kind of exemplifies what being a Celtic is. I think he's been a stellar part of that team and the run they've had over the past couple of years, although they haven't won yet. But yeah, sad to see him go. It'll be interesting to see how he takes place in a Grizzlies uniform. Obviously, he's going to be leading the charge there for the first couple of months with Mr. John Morant being unavailable. So yeah, we'll see how that shakes up. But in terms of NHL, just curious your guys' thoughts on this free agency and a couple of rumored trades in the mix here.
Yeah, smaller free agency. I mean, I would say you look back 7 years, these are big names that are kind of on the free agent market, but this year, not so much, but there are some, big names in Kane and Taves, definitely at the top of the list. Yeah. DeBrincat coming out of Ottawa, where does he go there? Could be exciting, even though it's not the star-studded cast, but we'll see what kind of happens there come Friday or whatever it is, Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I agree.
I think it's just going to depend on who can resist temptation. Because like if you're an NHL team, it's a weaker free agent class, and it's real easy to go and spend the cap space you have, and I think we're going to see a lot of deals that look a little ugly in a few years, just because it is a weaker class, and there's always teams that regrettably spend too much on July 1st, and then I think that notion gets exasperated big time when it's a weak free agent class like this one.
Right. Something I'm curious about now. Okay, so put yourself in Oliver Ekman-Larsson's shoes. I'm speaking of this because obviously being from Vancouver, we're somewhat Canucks fans, maybe some more than others. You're 32, your contract gets bought out. Are you Are you still suiting up for another team or wanting to?
I think he could still have a prove himself year kind of thing. Take a 1 year or 2 year contract and put the chips all on the table. You can retire and let's aim at 35 kind of thing and see if you can make yourself another 15 million in 2 years by really throwing it down. But you're in a
Yeah,
tough spot right now. I don't like who's picking him up.
Yeah, I think there's the pieces there for him to have a 1 year prove it deal and be able to make a lot on another contract next year for like say 3 years at 4 million per, something a little more attainable. But I think because he's got all the money from the Canucks, he can take a vet min prove it deal, which means he'll likely be able to go to a preferred spot where he'll be on a good team and look better, which means he's going to have better leverage going into next year. So
right,
I can see that working out for him if he's willing to take vet min.
right.
But um, yeah,
Yeah, I feel like the free agency this year is just like if you were to put this free agency back 5 years ago, where a lot of these guys would have been their prime, it would have been pretty hectic. But a lot of these guys are on the back end of their career, like Bergeron, Taves, Kane's getting a little older now. He's I think almost 35. And then O'Reilly's not that old yet, but he's getting there as well. So we'll see how it shakes up. Yeah, I'm obviously curious to see who ends up going where, but we shall see. In terms of other sports, the main sport we want to talk about, as always, in the last couple of weeks here, is baseball. So baseball is officially wrapped up for today with the Astros finally in 11 innings, I believe, beating the Dodgers 6-5. Congrats to Mr. Freddie Freeman on recording his 2,000th hit today. Obviously, a major milestone, Canadian kid. So all the kudos to him. In other notes, Marcus Stroman kind of has his first rough outing of the year. He allowed 6 runs, but only 3 of them were earned. But he only lasted 3 1/3 innings pitched. So St. Louis finally got to him. St. Louis is an interesting team, man. They're obviously struggling this year, but their lineups, I would say, is one of the top 10 in the league in terms of offensive output. But I guess they're just not getting the pitching they need to record wins per se. So we'll see how that shakes up. In other news, Yusei Kikuchi kind of been a bright spot for the Jays lately. He's improved to 7-2 on the year. That's just 7 wins, 2 losses with a 3.75 ERA, so not bad. If you're getting that out of your fourth or fifth starter as the Jays, you got to be happy. I mean, obviously with Manoah going down, he's kind of been a bright spot for them. Then not so bright season so far. I know they're doing fine, but still is what it is. Um, and then last thing I kind of wanted to touch on, I thought it was pretty amazing looking into this guy here. Um, Again, this is a name I am not gonna try and butcher too hard, but it's spelled Eury. So Airy, let's call it Airy for now. I used to call it Asterio when I couldn't pronounce the other guy's name. But Ari Perez for the Marlins. So he's been called up. I believe it was I want to say about 2 months ago. So on the season, since coming up from AAA, he's 5-1 with a 1.34 ERA and a sub 1 WHIP. So this guy's pretty lights out. 47 innings pitched, 54 strikeouts. So this guy might be. I mean, if he can hold this together and somehow have a prolonged season, why not be a Cy Young? Who knows? Obviously, there's a couple other candidates in the mix, but pretty stellar numbers from a guy that's just been called up to the big. So all kudos to him. You guys notice anything crazy or fun today in the big leagues?
Yesterday, I'm a pseudo Rockies fan, and holy hell, 21 runs in 2 innings against. It was an absolute beatdown. What did it end? 25-1? Was that the final? Like, it was just awful. But
Yeah.
pretty,
not.
I mean, kind of funny at the same point if you're giving up 21 runs. Like, and they didn't really go deep into the old left fielder throwing 52 kind of thing. Like, there are pitchers that were going through still at that point. So Just a bad day for everybody.
Yeah, but not to mention both Trout and Shohei. Like I think Shohei was
1 for 7. Yeah.
Okay,
Like
but
as a
listen to this.
designated hitter, like I don't know, man.
I mean, Shohei, you got to give him credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
But
no, yeah, of
I
course. It's just like how do you put up 25 and your best two players kind of had sus games?
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Like that's
this is essentially what I was going to say here. Every single player in the starting lineup, so they're starting 9 hitters, had at least 1 RBI and at least 1 run.
Yeah.
So that's like pretty crazy stuff. I can only imagine what that bet boulder looked like on 365 if someone had the kudos to do that. But I'm sure it was a nice payday if someone somehow predicted that crazy outcome.
Yeah.
Obviously, 13 runs in one
In
half
the
inning,
third. Yeah.
get up by 8 is pretty
You're
spectacular.
sitting there at the end of the second and you're like, oh, I think my over at, 8.5's gonna hit, and then it hit. Don't worry, I'm good.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the Rockies tweet at the end of the game?
No, like their final score.
Yeah, it was like SpongeBob, and he was like holding a piece of paper and it had final score on the back, and then like the next 2 pictures are him just like throwing it into a garbage or like lighting it on fire. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, smart idea. That was a bad one. That's for sure.
Yeah, the Angels went from 25 runs yesterday to 3 runs today. So, and they lost.
Yeah.
So
that's sports, baby.
That's 14 per game over 2 games.
Yeah, that's true. We're going off averages here.
Yeah, definitely a great average, but not a good result today as they lost to the Rockies 4-3.
No, and I've continued to mush the Rays after congratulating them and saying, good June. I think they're 3 wins or whatever through the last week that we've talked about. So they're still in the tank. That's on me. I'll take it. All of our Tampa Bay listeners, I'm sure there's half of you out there. That's on me. You can write me.
Keeping on the Angels train here, I'm going to go through some of the prop leader stuff here. So on to total RBIs for obviously hitters. On the year, number 1 on the list is Shohei Ohtani himself. He is currently at 36 wins and 41 losses on the year. It might not sound that spectacular, but all the time you're getting plus odds on these bets. And in his last 10 games, he is 7-3 on the over. And currently on away games, he's getting an RBI 57.14% of the time. And then number 2 on the list, we have Rafael Devers from the Red Sox. He has improved to 35-40 on the year, 35 being the overs, 40 being the unders. He is 52.63% at home to record an RBI. And then Marcus Semien's at 3rd, Matt Olson's at 4, and Adolis Garcia's at 5. Matt Olson has a nice little trend going as well. He has at least 1 RBI in 7 of his last 10 games, so 70% clip in his last 10. So yeah, but in terms of other prop leaders, I'm going to go down the list here. Total bases, which seems to be obviously a popular bet. Top of the list this year, kind of a name you might not even know as a casual baseball fan, Lane Thomas from the Washington Nationals. He is 60-15 on the year, so that is an 80% clip. He has 60 overs, 15 unders at home. He's hitting at a 76.92% clip on the over. On the road, he is hitting at an 83.33% clip. And 9 of his last 10, he's gone over. And then Bryson Stott still remains in the conversation there. I feel like he's been around for a while as our episodes have progressed here. And then Esterio Ruiz is still
nailed
there
it.
as well. Yeah, Esterio, baby. He might be my new favorite player. I might just get him. When they move to Vegas, I might get an Esterio Ruiz jersey and put Esterio on the back. But yeah, so that kind of wraps up
Lane Thomas, Vancouver Canadians guy, has been featured in our prop parlay before.
Yeah, he definitely has, and I believe he cashed. So all good to him.
Yeah, he's having a good season.
But yeah, in terms of, I'm gonna give us one other one. Unfortunately, this was a part of the parlay last week. This is pitchers to record a win on the season. At the top of the list, despite his loss last week in our parlay, Shane McClanahan still remains up top with 10 wins. or 10 times he's recorded a win, and 5 times he has not on the season. Surprisingly, he's recording more wins on the road versus at home. And then Zach Elfin for the Rays, he's actually 100% to record a win at home. So a nice little trend there.
Nice.
In 6 of the last 10, 9-5 on the season. And then Mr. I'm going to call him he's pretty ancient at this point. Clayton Kershaw, he is 9-6 with 9 wins and 6 losses. And he at home is recording a win 66.67% of the time. That's gonna kind of lead us into our prop parlay, powered by PropInsiders.com. I'm gonna start with my pick.
There they are.
Put on the shades for the picks, baby. Put on the shades for the picks. My pick of the day for tomorrow's game, which will be I guess this is actually so this one's a Tuesday game. So I believe the Marlins have a day rest. So keep that in mind. Luis Arraez to record a single. Some crazy numbers here. In his last 3 games, he has 11 at-bats, 4 singles. In his last 5 games, he has 19 at-bats, 8 hits, 7 of them singles. And in his last 10 games, he has 40 at-bats, 20 hits, 18 of them as singles. So on the season, Luis Arraez, when getting a hit, is 82.9% of the time is a single. So keep that in mind. That's my pick of the day, Luis Arraez to record a single versus the Boston Red Sox. Luke, do you want to give your pick?
Yeah, I'm going with Cincinnati Reds, boy. They just lost their winning streak today, unfortunately, against the Braves, but we're gonna jump on the train for them tomorrow. Jake Fraley, total bases. He's over 0.5 total bases in 8 of 10, averaging 3.2 in his last 5. He's over in 2 games versus Baltimore, averaging 3.5. And the Baltimore pitching staff is kind of struggling. Over the last 3 games, they're averaging 3 more total bases against per game than their season average of 14.3. And their starting pitcher tomorrow, Cole Irvin, comes into this one with a 6.75 ERA and a 1.57 whip over his last 5 starts. So Jake Fraley over 0.5 total bases. Ben?
Yeah, I'm going to jump over to the Rangers versus the Tigers and Corey Seager on his total bases prop. He is 4-1 in his last 5, and the Tigers are now ticking up almost 2 whole points to 15.00 total bases per game against. So Seager at home has been an absolute nightmare for defenses. All of his stats are way up. Currently in the last 3, his slugging is 1.00, which is great. And he's got a 4.33 total bases per game when playing at home. And that's up from his mixed stat at 1.33. So Corey Seager, total bases, I'm assuming it's going to be over 1.5. So take that.
Sweet. What do you guys like here on the glasses? You like this, off, or like that?
I'm a flash kind of guy.
All right, we're doing the flasher today.
Yeah, I think you got to go just on, but then when you start to talk, you got to go flash.
That's tough. Okay, that's asking
That's a lot of movement. Yeah, the guy's got a pretty bad sunburn. All right, like
He's
chill
just
out.
sitting there clicking it the entire time.
The guy's putting aloe vera on every time he's not moving around. So
yeah, I'm like trying not to move my hat so it doesn't graze across my forehead. Anyways, the boys pick flashing today, so I'm going to wrap up with our PropInsiders.com parlay summary. Obviously powered by PropInsiders.com. My pick of the day for Tuesday's games is Luis Arraez to record a single versus the Boston Red Sox. He has a single in 82.9% of his 82.9% of his hits are singles. Lucas, over to you.
I got Jake Fraley, total bases. That's a Monday bet. He's over 0.5 in 8 of 10, averaging 3.2 in his last 5.
Yeah, Monday bet as well. Corey Seager, total bases, probably over 1.5. His slugging percentage at 1.00, and he's got 4.33 total bases per game in the last 3 at home.
Sweet. Thanks for listening today, guys. I appreciate your time. Hope you enjoyed. Good luck on the parlay if you decide to ride with the boys. All the best and good luck.